there. Thank you so much for joining us today. We've got a great topic and a fabulous panel. I'd like to introduce you to my friends. I've got Karen Downy, Susan Jarboe, PhD, Dr. Kristine Pass, and Kathy Cronin. If you've watched our videos, you know that these are some wonderful people. We're going to have a great panel. Let's open with a centering prayer, shall we? I invite you to take a breath and consciously let go of anything and everything that you don't need to have with you right here and now. Let's take a breath together and turn within. God, we rejoice in this opportunity to come together spiritually, emotionally, intellectually, as we learn and grow and laugh in whatever comes our way, knowing that we are one in spirit, that we are one in truth. Thank you, God. Amen. And now here's Dr. Kristine.
Hi, everyone. It's so nice to be here with you all. Today, I am going to read Success One Day at a Time by John C. Maxwell. It's just a really little book, and the passage that I'm going to read from the preface, but it struck me so deeply that it felt like this would be a really great conversation for us to have. So he says, who doesn't desire success? It may seem peculiar to ask that question, yet most of the people you know will never achieve success. They'll dream about it, they'll talk about it, but most of them won't possess it. And that's a shame. Why is that? Because most people, excuse me, because most people don't understand success. It isn't the lottery. You don't stop at the corner convenience store on the way home, buy a ticket, and then wait for success to strike. Nor is it a place you can find when you reach some magical time of life. Success is not a destination thing. It's a daily thing. The only way to achieve real success is to do it one day at a time. The truth about success. To be successful, you don't need to be lucky or rich. But you do need to know this. You are what you do daily. Your first form, you first form your habits, then your habits form you. It is just as easy to form habits of success as it is to form habits of failure. Every day you live, you are in the process of becoming. Whether you are becoming better or worse depends on what you give yourself to. So, and this is just part of the preface, but for me, when I read this, I was really struck by the fact that you can't buy a lottery ticket to win success. Because we do think of it that way, or we're going to reach some point and then we'll be successful. What struck me even more is how this applies to my spiritual life. There's no endpoint with it either. I'm not suddenly going to be awakened, illumined, some master of all things. Every day, there's a new process, and I'm learning something. I'm uncovering, they talk about the whole layers of onions thing, and this is the truth of who I am. I'm becoming, and yeah, I'm becoming what I've always been. So it's a short topic, but I'm really interested in hearing what the panel has to say about what success means to each one of you, where you find it the easiest to pursue it, how you go about pursuing it, and what it looks like in the end. Who's brave enough to start?
I will, Dr. Kristine. Um, you know, um, over the last few months, I've I have through just different emotional turbulences myself. on what I was doing or what I wasn't doing. Was I meditating? Wasn't I just a whole bunch of things. And I'm not even sure what happened or what I read or listened to um that made a shift. And also that success thing. Well, I'm not in a class. I'm not working on clients now. I should that measuring up. Um, you know, it was troubling. And I'm not exactly even sure what made the shift. And that fell also into the areas of exercising and not exercising, doing something and then stopping, um, hitting some lows, just all of that stuff. And then I gave myself permission to feel unokay. It's like it probably won't last forever, Karen. I was very lucky that I've got my babies, Angel and Luna, that also sensed probably something. And I started getting more attention from them, unexpected things. And then I realized that, oh, I don't have to sit and meditate for an hour or a half hour. Acknowledging, and I know I've said this before, going outside, taking a picture, whether it's the tree, whether it's the green park, whether it's the flowers, the clouds, or just the photos that I make of my cats, is a meditation. I'm nowhere else. I'm nowhere else when I'm trying to steady the camera or get the moon in that little tiny focus box. I'm right there. So it was like giving myself permission to be. It's like I don't have to be doing. And I know there's a quote somewhere, we're human beings, not human doings. And that kind of goes along with like unlearning a whole lot of things that I thought I was taught, whether it was society-wise, parent-wise, church-wise, whatever. And it's like, wow, that's all BS. I just have to learn how to be me. And it's not about success. The success is I was born. Now I just have to be. So I loved that topic. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. And definitely you're echoing some of my own thoughts that, we really do just, all of these shoulds aren't getting us anywhere. We've got to just be. Beautiful.
So I'll share next. And thank you for bringing this topic, Dr. Kristine. You know, it was interesting about buying that lottery ticket and winning the lottery. And the whole sense of that is, do you really feel successful? You feel lucky, but buying the lottery ticket didn't do anything that achieved your success. You may be financially well off now, but what are you going to do now that you have this financial well-being? What are you going to do with it? And how are you going to be successful with that type thing? So I like breaking it down that every single day, what you do builds up your successes, whether it's, getting in that habit of going to the gym or having a routine of some kind, that what you accomplish at the end of the day is a success that you started out that day to do and you finished it at the end of the day. That's a success. Every little step along the way is a success. It's sort of like, some people just think, make it successful and are acknowledged for their success, where other people, I just shared with some friends who are celebrated their 59th anniversary yesterday. That's a success to, get through 59 years with somebody and keep that, love alive and going and raising a family, that's a success. It's not about going out and achieving great things and writing great books and getting your name recognized or whatever it was. It's sort of like just the little things you do every day makes you a successful person. And I have to say, when I look at it, it was like, yes, when I was working, I wanted that promotion because then I felt like, I achieved something. Well, how I achieved that was those little steps along the way, the extra things that I did that, made me a success in that job, got me those promotions. It was those times that I went above and beyond to make things happen that made that be successful. So it sort of is looking at it as it's just success is really a small step along the way, being, whether you're on a diet or whatever you're trying to do, if you set a goal for something and you move in that direction, you're achieving success. And I find it's like, maybe I'm not, the president of company. Actually, I had been the president of a company that I had started, but it sort of was like that whole aspect of what is it that I want to do? How do I want to make a difference in the world? And what are the steps that are getting me to doing those things I want to do? And whether that's raising your children, since I don't have any children, but it's the relationships I have with family, that's a success. It's the relationships I have with friends and the bonds that I create there is a success. So it's like when each day that I look at what's my intention today, and at the end of the day, did I accomplish it? I was successful today. So I really appreciate that topic and bringing that and bringing the reality that it's not about wealth and money and notoriety. It's about your intentions and moving in those directions. So thank you so much, Dr. Kristine.
Kathy, this is such an insightful thing to have shared. The fact that you brought up goals really reached in, because I was thinking, in that process, sure, we might have a goal even for the end of the day, and we might not make that goal. That might not be completed today, but were we working toward it? And isn't that success? So I'm really glad that you brought up the topic of goals and the long-term relationships and the day-to-day things with promotions. Beautiful.
I'll go next. When I think of success, I think of the standards by which we measure success. And we adopt many of the standards of our culture. We've all heard of the American dream, right? And part of that dream is to own your own house. Well, the millennial generation doesn't share that dream. And that's okay. That shows that what we consider success can change on the cultural level. In terms of one's personal successes, those can often be defined by our parents. We all know of stories of parents who force their children into overachieving, whether it's sports or academics, and the child isn't really geared that way, does not want to put all of his or her effort into the endeavors that their parents want them to take on. And we have to, in that case, we have to let go of our ideas of success for other people. I'm thinking, have you, any of you, looked at someone and thought, well, now there's a failure? We look at people and we say, some people, and we say, now that's a success story. We love rags to riches stories, for instance. in terms of our own goals, I've been kind of reflecting on that because I recently retired. And so that's kind of a time where you go over your work life and so on. And there are standards by which we could say, I failed. But in terms of personal successes, my own standards, I have been a success. So I think we have to be careful of imposing our standards for success on other people, and we also have to be careful of adopting the standards for success of other people.
Susan, you are sending time I listen to you, I just think, oh, I just really want to be one of your students because I love listening to you. You're so good. And this idea of the cultural side of things, I had not even thought about that. And yet it's so true. It influences the way we have looked at success and oftentimes kept us from realizing that we need to look at our own personal values and what we want. And so that was great. Thank you. And Reverend Linda?
Thank you. This is a wonderful topic. I think it's so powerful to stop and think about what we consider a success. I'm really glad that we were talking about goals and setting goals and whether you accomplish them or not. I kind of go Buddhist on this. I have goals, but I'm not defined or attached to them. There are goals that I'm working towards that I would love to see manifest. For example, we're looking at starting a church, a new church here in the town that I live in. And I love that idea. I think it would be great for the community. But if it didn't happen, I wouldn't feel like I was a failure. I would feel like it just wasn't meant to be, or I'm not the one to start it, or whatever. I have goals. There are things I would love to make manifest, but I'm not defined by them or attached to them. I'm still me, and I know that I'm a success as long as I can rest in gratitude and as long as I can truly love who I am a success. I'm already there. So thank you for this topic.
Thank you, Linda. And your example of the church was so great because it isn't about that end point. It doesn't negate any of who and what we are in that process. It's lovely, lovely. So thank you, everyone.
Well, and thank you, everyone. Are there any more comments before we bring this topic to a close? Okay, then, I would seriously like to thank each and every one of you women for being on this panel and sharing your heart, your spirit, your love with the people who view our videos. And I would like to thank you, our viewer. If you have comments you would like to share, we would love to read them. Every comment is answered. And if you're not already a subscriber, we invite you to subscribe to our videos. It helps us. It can help you. And if you hit that little bell on YouTube when you subscribe, you will be informed every time we post a new video. If you would like to join us, we would love to have you. There's information at the end of this video you can use to get in touch with the church and open that conversation. Thank you for being with us. Goodbye.
Thank you for joining us, and let's stay connected and grow in spirit. We are on Facebook. Search for Unity Church of El Cajon and follow us and like our posts. You can reach us on YouTube at Unity Church of El Cajon. Please subscribe to our channel, watch our videos, and leave comments which can help us improve. We are on the web at unityofelcajon.org. Email or call our church office to receive our weekly newsletters, which lists all of our activities and opportunities to learn and grow together.